Okay, welcome to another GAK9 Australia video. This time we're reviewing Klaus. This is his sixth session that he's doing. Now, excellent presentation of the food, good presentation of the article. Now, the only thing I would say here is as the track layers moved off, I would have moved off a little bit quicker just to avoid that moment there where Klaus is really, kicking into drive and lunging, wanting to get out there and find the track layer. But otherwise, really nice work. And we're going to fast forward here in a second because we're going to be waiting for a couple of minutes before Klaus goes up to start article and gets working. Let's get into it. So this is perfect. You absolutely nailed the time of the moment that Klaus sniffs the article, takes scent, and releasing him from the handler's grasp. So really, really excellent work there. Now, again, we're constantly learning through self-discovery at this stage in training. So, we are going to see Klaus moving very quickly, moving in and out of odor until he learns for himself the most efficient way to track is going to be. Also, too, we're working on a lot drier terrain at the moment. I know it's been really hot on the East Coast. So I know things are a lot drier. So that's also changing a bit of the picture that he might have been used to in the foundation stages where we were working. So we're going to see a little bit of difference in behavior here. Now, I also know that the video is going to cut out just before we find the track layer, but I know that Klaus does do a good job of finding them. So really, that was an excellent little modified fire trail. Well done. Okay, so fire trail number 2 with Klaus. Now, I've just sped up the beginning just because it was all very much the same and all also very good work. The only thing of note there was 2 things. One was good verbal correction again to drop the article. You've already switched over to using a spanner, and yet your lovely Malinois still wants to pick it up. It's classic, and also really nice work to get him to drop it with the minimal amount of stress. 2 was really nice self-discovery for Klaus as he picked up the exit track all on his own after a few goes around the article and where he saw the track layer run off. So really impressed with his ability to think. And it was also a good sign that he'd actually reduced his arousal somewhat to the point where he could actually think. So it might look a little bit crazy and a little bit hectic right now, but he's learning to calm down a little bit and use his brain to solve these problems. So Klaus is doing very well here. So I sped up most of the track there just because it was really nice work, but Klaus is off in the distance working away independently and figuring this out for himself. What I want to talk about now is the most interesting part of the track, which is Klaus dealing with the direct odor pull of your track layer. At this point here, Klaus is within, 10 meters of your track layer, and he's not finding them not for a lack of motivation, but because the direct odor pull being given off by your track layer as they sit there, imagine if you will like a smoke grenade that's going off, is quite a challenge for a dog to overcome. This is why we always should train with a human at the end of our track, regardless of how long it is, because that odor pull for an inexperienced dog, as we can see here with Klaus, and this is why we train this way, by the way, off leash and allowing him to learn for himself, completely throws him off. Now, the really impressive thing is that Klaus does overcome the scent pull problem independently. That odor given off by the track layer, like I said, is very overwhelming at times, and until the dog learns how to work through it, it can ruin your tracks in the future. So this is really, really awesome to see the learning that Klaus is having here as he's followed the odor pull, basically to a point where it's run out in the wrong direction. And now he's working his way back in, now that he's absolutely sure, having been here before, that this is where the track layer is. So really excellent work by Klaus here. Also too, he's a small dog still. These animal tracks create a bit of a picture for the dog where the long grass next to it can almost appear like a wall. It's only a small issue, and he pushes through it really nicely as well. And as he gets bigger and more experienced, these sorts of obstacles, if you will, as they present to the dog, will become less and less of a problem. And you can see here as well as Klaus is bounding through the grass where he's hitting the edge of the direct odor pool of the track layer, which is also affected by the terrain and the heat. Now, Klaus does a good job here. He finds the track layer. Well done. So what's next? All I want to see next is continue with the same sort of difficulty of tracks, use the similar terrain as what you're doing, but just increase the age a bit longer after you've dropped the article. You can go up to 5 or 6 minutes just to see how Klaus responds and still continues to link the article with finding the track layer, and then we'll see how he goes with that.